What's up, Impact family? Pastor Derek, and welcome to video 2 of our intro videos to our 21 days of prayer and fasting. Today, I want to talk to you about prayer. Prayer. Obviously, that's a big part of what's going to happen starting January 5th here at our church. That alongside fasting, which we will talk about in the next video. But I wanted to give us some foundational things when it comes to prayer and what that's going to look like starting on January 5th when we start this 21 days of prayer and fasting. You know, most people don't pray, not because they don't love Jesus or not because they don't want to have a better relationship with God, but simply because they don't have a plan. So if you don't have a plan, it's going to be very difficult to meet a goal. And that's true in anything, especially when it comes to prayer. As we read through the Gospels, it seems that Jesus had a plan to pray. In fact, in Mark chapter 1, verse 35, we see that it says this, "And rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark," that's early, "he," Jesus, "departed, and he went to a desolate place, a place where he was by himself, and there he prayed." See, Jesus had a rhythm, a sacred rhythm of spending time with his Father. And it was that time with God in the private that gave him the power in the public. And again, a lot of us want to have a better prayer life and want to be more closer to Jesus, but if we don't have a plan, we're planning on failing that. And so just like Jesus, we need to make sure we have a rhythm. Now, I know what you're thinking if you hear that verse, is that I'm not a morning person. Well, I want to challenge you, and typically I would say that's okay, and you don't have to pray in the mornings. I'm not saying you have to, but I do want to challenge you to make time in the mornings before you start your day, before you pick up your phone, before your kids wake up if you're a parent, to spend time with God just like Jesus did early in the morning. At least try it for 21 days. And if you're like, "Pastor, I can't do that, my job doesn't allow it, or my kids wake up at the break of dawn," I get it. You can spend time with God anytime. The important thing is your why, your motive, and why you're doing it. Other really important things that Jesus went to a desolate place. He went to a place where he was by himself. Jesus talked about this in Matthew chapter 6 on the Sermon on the Mount. He says in verse 5, "When you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly, truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray," and this is what I want you to hear today, "go into your room and shut the door. Pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Have a plan, and then also make sure that you're doing it not to be seen by others. Don't post about your prayer time every time you do it. Don't go straight to TikTok Live or Instagram Live every time you pray. Make sure it's between you and God, and as you're in secret with Jesus, he'll reward you for that time. I want to give you 3 things, 3 core ideas really, that you can focus on as we dive into this time of prayer, as you're praying about joining us on this 21 days of prayer and fasting. And you can see whether this is something you really want to do, but I want to help you create a plan. Number 1, pick a place. Pick a place. Where are you going to spend time in prayer every day over these 21 days? Find your spot. Let it be a spot that brings you life, a spot that you just love, that's comfortable but not too comfortable, a spot that there's no distractions, a spot that you can go to and you look forward to sitting at every day. I have a few spots in my house. I used to have just one spot every single day, but now I mix it up every now and then. I may be at the dining room table in the mornings, or I may be sitting on our couch. And I have a desk in our bedroom that I really love because it has a lot of things that my kids have given me over time, and I just love sitting there with a candle lit and spending time with God in prayer in the mornings at that desk. But the important thing is that you have a place, a consistent place that you love going to. Maybe this is your dining room table, or a couch in your living room, or a chair that you really love that's quiet, and you know that you can sit in that chair and really enjoy that time there. Or maybe it's your car. I know a lot of people that have the best worship services ever in their car and great prayer time in their car. Maybe it's a certain table or a certain place you sit at work during your lunch break. Maybe the time you spend with God, you want to mix in with some exercise over these 21 days. So every morning you take a walk. It'd be cold, but maybe you walk around the block or somewhere in nature sometime during the day, and that's your place. The important thing isn't where or what kind of place it is. The most important thing is that you pick a place and say, that is going to be my spot that I'm going to go to every single day. The second thing that you must do to have a plan is pick a time. Not only do you need a place, but you also need to pick a time. And I would challenge you and encourage you, be consistent in this time. Write it in your calendar. Literally, put it in your calendar as if you have an appointment with God. If you knew that you were going to really meet with Jesus in person, He was going to be sitting across a table from you, drinking coffee with you, you would make sure you were not late to that meeting. Well, friend, that's exactly what you have the opportunity to do every single day, is sit and have coffee with Jesus. So make an appointment and show up. You know, when we make schedules with friends and family or a Georgia game, we're not late to those things. So put it in your schedule, pick a place, and pick a time that you make sure you're there consistently every day. Do what you got to do to show up. Now, what time does that need to be? As I just read, Jesus liked getting up early in the morning. I'm a morning person, so it's a little bit easier for me to do that than it may be some people that aren't morning people. But I tend to also like getting up in the mornings, and that's just for me. In my season of life, I've got 3 kids. It's just the most quiet my house is throughout the day. I get up before the dogs, before my kids, before all the things, and I just sit in the presence of God. And oftentimes it is dark outside. And I don't want you to use the excuse, I'm not a morning person, to not spend time with God in the morning. The reason the morning, I believe, is the best time is because it's before your day starts. You're getting ahead of everything. It's a great way to start your day. And the science has proven how we start our day, and actually how we end our day, but how we start our day has a lot to do with how our day ends up going. So if you don't want to do it in the morning, however, you have whatever time restraints, or you're just your kids, there's no way you can beat them waking up, or maybe your job doesn't allow it. Your lunch break is a totally appropriate time. If you're like, hey, I'm just a night owl, I will spend all night with Jesus, then hey, kudos to you, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. But if you want to do that and that's the best time for you, make that your time. What I would encourage you to do, if you don't want to do mornings and you have all these other times, the important thing is this, is that you're picking a time that you're at your best. When you have the most energy, the most attention, and you're able to give God your best, whatever time that might be. Number 3, use simple tools. Don't overcomplicate prayer. It's simply just a conversation between you and God. It's you talking to God and you listening to God speaking to you. Sometimes it's sitting in silence. Sometimes it's weeping and crying. Sometimes it's being excited. Sometimes it's being angry. But it's just like a conversation you would have with a friend. Don't overcomplicate it, but there are tools that you can use that can help you if you're like, I don't know what to pray or how to do this thing. The big thing that we're going to provide for you over these 21 days is a framework. Each day as these videos go up each morning, you'll be able to watch the video, and then I'll lead you in a prayer time, and then it's between you and Jesus after that. But there's going to be things that I give you to pray and prayer focuses. Now, you don't have to do what we talk about in the videos. It's up to you. You could do the acronym for prayer, which is pause, rejoice, ask, and yield. I've heard of an acronym ACTS, which is adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. You can use any of those. You can sit in silence. We're going to have a Spotify playlist available for you with some worship instrumentals that I love listening to while I'm in time of prayer. I actually have in the front of my Bible a daily prayer list that I go to every day. And I won't do this during the 21 days of prayer and fasting because I'll be praying the guide alongside you guys. But I have in there thanking God for who He is, thanking Him for what He's done, and then thanking Him for what He's doing. And then I have personal needs. I have forgiveness, growth, that I would love people well. I pray for my health. Then I pray for my family's needs, my wife, my kids, my other immediate family. I pray and talk to God about spiritual leadership needs, our church, our staff, our elders, other churches, other church leaders, our congregation. And then I typically close my prayer time with societal needs like the world, our country, the state and the city we live in, government leaders, that I would love them well. Again, I'm just telling you not to like flex on what I do. I'm just trying to share with you that you've got to have a plan, and I don't stick with that 100% of the time. And here's a secret that most pastors won't tell you. There are days that I struggle to remember to pray. I know, gasp, right? A pastor doesn't pray. There are days that I'm so focused on myself, forget to remember that I can't do this without God. So don't beat yourself up as these 21 days go and you may struggle to pray some days. Again, it's not about how long you pray. Jesus says, don't be like the Pharisees who pray these long prayers on street corners to look spiritual and feel spiritual. My friend, consistency is more important than intensity. Showing up is the first step to really connecting with God. A couple bonus things I want to give you. I know I said I had 3 things, but I want to give you a few more. Is if you're watching this on social media instead of our website and there's a comment section, comment down below where your prayer spot is and the time that you're going to be spending with God. Put it in the comments. That's a commitment to say, I am committing to this. I'm putting it on this public forum and saying, I have a chair that I sit in, or I like going on a walk, or my car is my sanctuary. Comment that down below and then tell us what time, when you're going to be spending time with God. What you'll see is that there's going to be many people who are spending time with God and praying at the same time. And there's just some power in that as you realize that people are praying at the same time as you are. Another bonus tip I will leave you with today that is super duper helpful, especially if you're new to prayer, is drag somebody along with you on this journey. Seriously, find a friend, find a family member, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's somebody in the church, maybe it's somebody that you know, and tell them, hey, I'm doing this 21 days of prayer and fasting. And text each other every day. I've done this with friends before. Simply say, we're gonna text each other every day during these 21 days. And what I would encourage you to do is you don't have to say what you prayed about. Just simply send a thumbs up emoji. That's right, thumbs up emoji. What does that do? It's just saying, hey, I did it. I spent time with God. Now, if I'm struggling that day and I see that my accountability partner or partners, you could have a group of people to do this together, have spent time with God, that is a reminder to me to make sure I am making time today to spend time with God as well. It's a great way to remember what's important and to make sure that you do that. So, in closing and in summary, a few things I want you to do. Go ahead and pick your place. Where is it that you're going to be spending time with God? Pick your time. What point during the day are you going to commit to spending time with God? Are you going to wake up early? Is it going to be during your lunch break or your commute? Or is it going to be later in the evening? Invite somebody to do this with you. That's right. Find a group of friends or a family member or whoever and say, hey, let's hold each other accountable over these next 21 days starting on January 5th, and let's walk through this thing together. And that's it for video 2. I want you to picture yourself now doing this every single day, committing to it and saying, I'm going to spend time in conversation and in prayer alongside my church family with Jesus every day starting January 5th. And I hope you're praying now. I hope you're already spending time with God. But this is going to be a great way for us to renew our faith and renew our passion for prayer in a 21-day commitment. I look forward to it, and I can't wait to see what God does in your prayer life starting in January. Make sure you check out video 3 coming out pretty soon as we dive into fasting and talk about what that is.